So today I wanted to do a different sort of sit down, chatting, vlogging type of video, and I know that a bunch of my last videos have all been like this, but this is going to be a little bit different. As you can probably tell by the title, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how I got into this wonderful world that I now know as the Marvel fandom. Back in my junior year of high school, so this was about 6 years ago, so around when Iron Man 1 came out, I was dating this kid at the time, and he wanted to go see Iron Man for the midnight premiere. Up until that point, I hadn't really been into superheroes or really into any of that kind of stuff, and as being the good girlfriend that I was, I went with him to see the movie, and I was more allured because Robert Downey Jr. was in it, and this is what kind of like sparked my absolute love affair with Robert Downey Jr. That's what kind of drew me in initially. So we went to go see the movie, and after that movie, my eyes were just like open to this whole new world, and I didn't really get too into it, but I remember leaving the movie theater and being like, wow, this is really cool. I cannot wait for the next one. That was my junior year of of high school. Now then Iron Man 2 came out, and I don't remember, I want to say it was my freshman year of college. No, it was the summer of my freshman going into my sophomore year of college, because we went to see the movie. I was absolutely in love with it, of course. I was just kind of like, wow, oh my god. And I started getting into it a little bit more from there. I didn't really go and see the other superhero movies that were coming out, so the other like Avengers, so Captain America, Thor. I didn't really, Incredible Hulk, I didn't go and see those in the movies, because at the time I was really only interested in Iron Man, and I started getting into it that way and watching things, and then I kind of discovered that there was this whole other world of comics and shows about Iron Man and not just these movies. So that's how I started to get into it. And then I would say the moment that kind of just completely was a 360 for me was when I went to go see the Avengers. I was so excited about seeing the Avengers. If you've been around here for a while, you might recall all of my Avengers inspired makeup tutorials for the week leading up to the movie. Those will all be linked down below. But from that moment, I remember we were watching it, and I was just so floored and so astounded while watching that movie. I left the movie theater finding Jesus, and I think I've said this before, but that movie for me is what clicked in my head, and I was like, okay, I'm really into this, and I'm going to fully embrace this like geekiness and this nerdiness and this whole different world that I'm still very new to. And from there on out, I kind of just fully went with it. I dove headfirst, and I sort of just went about it, and that is where I am today. My friend Keith, who I did the Japanese candy tasting video with, my friend Keith has always been really into comics and all that kind of stuff and really nerdy, so he's kind of the one who brought me into this world, I guess you could say. He was giving me all of the Avengers comics. He was giving me, I remember the first kind of venture into Marvel comics that I've read was Civil War. That turned me onto this whole idea of, wow, comics are actually really good. Because up until that point, I appreciated it, but I was never that into it, and it's always kind of like, reading comics, no thank you. And then I started reading them, and a whole new world was opened for me, and now I have piles of comics. I have books of comics everywhere, and I can't get enough of them. Opened my eyes to a whole new world, if you will, and I have to say that since embracing my geekiness, and a lot of my friends have even pointed it out to me because they notice this like transition that I've made, and I'm more myself, and I'm more comfortable being myself, and that means being geeky, then that means being geeky, and I fully have come to embrace it. And when I was in high school, I did cheerleading, I did all that kind of stuff, so I always grew up with like the cool kids, and I don't even think that that's a relevant thing anymore, but I always grew up with the notion in my head of, I'm a cheerleader, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's so stupid, and looking back on it now, I feel so dumb, and I was so young and stupid. Ever since I've kind of fully embraced what it is that I like, and I'm going to be who I'm going to be. I have been so much happier for it. I've met so many amazing people because of it, and I can honestly say that it changed my life. And I know that this is getting pretty deep and it's getting very sentimental. It's been sort of nerdy, but I've never really, I guess, paid attention to it. I've never really embraced it. And since I've just fully kind of embraced it and I'm like, okay, this is who I am, these are the things I like. I don't care if I'm buying $800 worth of toys that are meant for 5-year-old boys. This is what I like, this is what I'm going to do. But since doing that, I've had so many opportunities to do so many amazing things. I got to film an episode of Comic Book Men, which is Kevin Smith's TV show. I unfortunately didn't make the cut, but there are reasons that we're thinking why I didn't make it. But nonetheless, it was a blast. It was a great time. I still got to go and experience that and still get to go and be a part of it, even if my episode didn't make it to TV, which I don't even care about because it happened and that's what I'm happy about. And going to Comic-Con and meeting new people, and I have to say that the friends that I have met because we have these similar interests in comics and Marvel and all that stuff, I've got to say are some of the best and most genuine people that I've ever met. I would have never met them if I didn't embrace it and kind of just go with it. And there's people that I've met all around the world. Like, no, it's really opened my eyes to kind of a whole new way of having fun, of doing things that I enjoy, and I don't know, it's been a real life-changing event, if you will. I think I'm making it out to be a lot bigger than it is, but for me, I know for me personally, once I kind of made that transition and just fully went for it, and I don't know how many times I've said this already, but fully embraced my geekiness, I've been so much happier for it. I've met so many great people. I've had so many more opportunities to do different things, to have fun, and just kind of go with it. And I gotta say, I love it, and I don't regret it, and I would never, ever, ever change it or switch it for the world. And people may think some type of way because I really like Marvel, and I really like Iron Man, and I really like superheroes and comic books and little action figures, but it's what I like. It makes me happy that it's affected me for the better. I mean, not that I was in this horrible place beforehand, but I always felt like I was hiding. I don't want to even say I was hiding, but I always felt like there was a part of me that I could never show, and it was the part of me that's who I felt I truly was. I'm glad that I did it. I'm happy that I did it, and there's really not much else to say. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you comment and subscribe, and until the next time, I will see you on the next video.